There we go. Thank you. This is just not working. In January of next year, our center will be 40 years old. For those of us who remember when 40 seemed old, but anyway, if you would like to help Reverend Angelica plan for the 40th anniversary, please see Reverend Angelica. Our center runs on volunteers. Speaking of which, we always have room for volunteers. We need greeters. James could not be here today. There's some construction going on around their place, and they couldn't get here, so we could always use greeters. We need people to help pass the plate. There's always room for volunteers.
Counters, we need counters for counting the collection afterwards.
That's right. We will find a place for you. If you will get involved, we will figure out something you can do. Okay, why do I even bother? The bookstore. We do have a bookstore. And all books by Joel Goldsmith are 20% off. We also have a little pantry. Excuse me. We have a little pantry. We help feed our local community. Please provide donations. Right now it's got a lot of stuff, but we always need more. Walk and Awe stocks it on Mondays. Is that still the case? So if you want to bring a lot of stuff, bring it on Monday, but you can stock it whenever you want. And once a month we have our Going Green segment with Lori. And so Lori, wherever you may be, there you are. Lori will come up and share a little bit about ways to help our planet, which definitely needs it right now.
There's one other announcement that our directory list is still over here.
Okay, if you're a member, we have a directory. Please check and make sure that the information is accurate. Lori, it is yours.
Thanks, Scott. Hey, everybody.
You need me to move that?
I'm not sure where. Oh, it sticks really well. So today we're going to talk about using less plastic containers. I feel like I echo in here. First of all, on the table, they say if you say something at the beginning and something at the end, people will remember it. So, hello, I'm in a cave. A lot of people don't know what our recycling center will accept. So if you are recycling, you have the bins. There's lists on the table that you can take with you so you know exactly what our center takes. Apparently, they sell our recycling to somebody else. And if they don't want it, then we shouldn't put it in the bin. So please take one, read it, use it. Try not to put the stuff in that they don't accept, which is also on the list, because they consider that contaminating it, and they won't take it at all. So, okay. So my little cute container there. Instead of using the plastic containers that we use for our hand washing dish soap or for our hand washing soap for our hands, these little bottles are at Target, and then they come with, it's called Everspring, and that's what's in the picture there. These little containers for foaming hand soap and foaming dish soap. And I think they make it foaming because it's really liquidy compared to the viscosity of dish soap that we get. You could just put it in the old bottle that you've been using for your dish soap or your hand soap as well, but it'll just be more liquidy. So I got the one for the dish soap, so it's a little bit more foamy when it comes out. So at Ace, these are from Target, just so you know where you can go to get it. These are from Ace, and what it is, I don't know how many Windex bottles you have in your house. I opened my cupboard, and I'm like, geez, I got 3 of these plastic bottles. And so you can get this, and basically it just dissolves. There's 2 of these in there, these little packets. And there's a little thing that you put in the bottle, and you just add water and wait for it to dissolve. One thing that you need to know is a lot of times our Windex containers are 32 ounces, and this says for 20 ounces. So just pay attention to the ounce amount so that you don't over water it. And then the bonus item today, I was shopping, because I never do that, but thanks to Twice Nice, I got this silk jacket for $5, so I'm not a shopper. But anyway, I got this sweater at Belle Star, and I noticed this little green tag on it. This sweater's made out of recycled bottles. It's not cheap, but if you really are into investigating, it just says made from recycled plastic bottles, and I will have it in the back where I'm sitting if you want to come feel it, because it is very nice. And I don't know what it's going to look like after it gets washed a few times. I'll be happy to report that my green minute's up. So thanks, everybody.
I didn't hear, where did you say the Windex things?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Ace, Schaefer's Ace.
Okay.
They have the Windex, and they have a couple other ones lined up next to it for like bathroom cleaner and things like that. So if we can at least reuse our bottles that we already have, or use glass. Also, reminder, last thing, recycle list on the table.
Thank you, Lori. I just wanted to add, we got our kitchen floor, we put in a new kitchen floor a couple of months ago, and yesterday we decided we'd actually wash it. And it had special instructions, so I did some research on the type of detergent we had to get, and there was one that we ended up getting called Boma, I think it is, or Bohm, okay, which was, when you read the ingredients, it's like all plant-based, and it did a wonderful job. So I just wanted to pass that one along too. I got to feel good about getting detergent on the floor, which cleaned the floor nicely. It only took a few minutes to do it, and it was plant-based and didn't bother the floor. So there are detergents and things if you look for them, and we need to be more aware of that as we go forward. Yeah, a little bit, but one might... Yeah, and one might argue that the cost of not using them is even more expensive, so, as we can. Yes, Les?
For those of us like me who do not like to shop online, Eureka Natural now has the laundry detergent sheets in cardboard boxes.
Wonderful, thank you. So that was something Lori talked about last month or the month before. Louise, it's show and tell is continuing right now.
Talking about recycled, I have an idea for junk art that we will be doing in September at the Morse Graves, and I want to use those water bottles.
Okay, great.
The plastic, white, clear. My idea, I'll just tell you what it is. I want to cut it up and make a Christmas tree so it will look crystally. So if you're saving them for the money, I'll pay you the 5 cents.
Thank you, Louise.
I need a bunch of them, and hopefully my idea will work. Well, I don't know.
Okay, Oh, yes, Jackson.
Pearson sells the Bonner products.
What was that?
Pearson sells the Bonner.
Oh, do they? Okay, we live across the street from Schaefer's, and I wandered in there and found it. So Pearson sells the Bona products too. And they're also at Winco. I know. Shopper's Corner, please. All right, let's move forward. Marvin, if you could give us the next slide. Our theme for the month, My Passion, My Purpose. And it will now be Karen's passion and purpose to lead us in the chant and then the contemplative meditation. So Karen, if you'd rescue me, please.
All right, so please join me in the chant here. Breathe into the heart of me. Breathe into the heart of me. Spirit inside me, I call on you to guide me. Breathe into the heart of me. Breathe into the strength of me. Breathe into the strength of me. Spirit inside me, I call on you to guide me. Breathe into the strength of me. Ah, breathe into the faith of me. Ah, breathe into the faith of me. Ah, Spirit inside me, I call on you to guide me. Breathe into the faith of me. Ah. Our reading this morning is from The Gifts of Imperfection by Brené Brown. She says, the greatest challenge for most of us is believing that we are worthy now, right this minute. Worthiness doesn't have prerequisites. So many of us have knowingly created, unknowingly allowed, or been handed down a long list of worthiness prerequisites. I'll be worthy when I lose 20 pounds. I'll be worthy if I can get pregnant. I'll be worthy if I can get and stay sober. I'll be worthy if everyone thinks I'm a good parent. I'll be worthy when I can make a living selling my art. I'll be worthy if I can hold my marriage together. I'll be worthy when I make partner. I'll be worthy when my parents finally approve of me. I'll be worthy if they call back and ask me out. I'll be worthy when I can do it all and look like I'm not even trying. Here's what's truly at the heart of wholeheartedness. Worthy now. Not if, not when. We are worthy of love and belonging now, right this minute, as is. Please take this into the sacred silence.
One people living on one planet, joining in one family. We are all one people living on one planet, joining in one family. We are all And so just leaning into this truth, into the oneness
of who and whose we are. I know that there is only God, one presence, one power, the source and substance of all things, in all ways and always, all God, all good. And I know this good shows up as each and every one of us. That even as we are perfectly imperfect human beings, we are perfect in that divinity. And so in our divinity, I just claim and know for us this day that we are these beautiful channels of the divine flowing forth out into this beautiful world, spreading love and joy and light wherever we go. And so I bless every person in the sound of my voice, knowing that we are here by divine appointment, perfectly placed in this time and this place, to be that light, to be that love, to be the one that we have been waiting for. And I am so grateful for our beloved music and for our beloved minister and for every word of truth that is spoken in this prayer. And so I simply cast it forth into the law, letting it go and letting it be, knowing that sweet spirit is always there whispering, yes, my beloved ones, yes. And we know and affirm this together by saying together, and so it is. Beautiful. And now it is my pleasure to invite up Reverend Angelica.
You know, the title of my talk this morning is Perfectly Imperfect, and I was looking at the news on Facebook this morning. Why I did that, I don't know. Because I saw this map that shows fires in so many places across our planet. I read about a hurricane-force winds and rain that's going to be in Southern California. Southern California! Of course, the story in Maui is still going on, and it's been added to because now there's all these conspiracy theories about how it was intentionally set so that they could build, somebody could build condominiums in that area. You know, it makes me wonder, what the hell is going on? You know, what is going on? And I'm going to say this. It always seems to get worse before it gets better. And I've been saying to you for years that I fully believe that we're elevating our consciousness, some being dragged into it, some willingly stepping into it. We're elevating our consciousness and thereby elevating the consciousness of the planet, of everybody on it and everything. It's like when the Dalai Lama said years ago, my religion is kindness. And I had been saying that the old paradigm of might is right is dying. And I thought, yes, that's what it's going into. We're going into a consciousness of compassion and kindness and love and givingness rather than takingness. And so every time I see all of this stuff happening, in fact, last year and the year before, I was saying, now this must be the apex just before we start shifting into the new. Well, I'm saying that again because I know that it's taking a lot longer than I think it should, you know? Perfectly imperfect. So, back to our monthly theme of my passion, my purpose. You know, when we begin to discover our passion and our purpose, we often default to judgment mode. I remember when I was a kid, I loved writing and I loved art. And my mother, during a conversation with my grandmother, I believe, said, where I said, oh, I want to be a writer and an artist. And the immediate response was, well, you'll be a starving artist, a starving writer. And I'm sure musicians probably heard that when they were little and they wanted to, make that their thing. Oh, well, you'll never make any money doing that. And I remember, too, my younger brother, who was an avid surfer. He loved surfing. He wanted to be in competitions. This is my view of him, this was his passion. And my father talked him into going into the business world, which I'm sure that, I know he's done a good job in the business world, and yet there must be that little boy in him that is still going, why didn't I go surfing? Why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? And maybe there's even that in you as well. That part of you that says, oh, wow, when I was little, I knew this was what I was going to be. And yet because of external judgments or opinions, or, when our mother or our fathers say, oh, you'll starve if you do that, they're not doing it because they're evil. They're doing it because they want to make sure that you're okay. And so my thing was, after a while, I had to do some forgiveness work around that. And, I posted on Facebook today, 9 years ago today, or was it 10 years ago today, I put in the submission for my book into Hay House, their publishing unit called Balboa Press. And that book has been in our bookstore for a long time. It's not now because somebody just bought the last one. But I thought about that this morning, and I thought how I had been writing what I call my Friday message, which I still do, for a long time, and decided to compile those into a book. And then it took me a long time to even do that because I didn't feel worthy of it, of being published. And then finally I'm published, and I was looking back this morning because of Facebook telling me that was 10 years, that in 10 years, a lot of books have sold. I've gotten people emailing me about how this particular date that they read really changed something in their life. I've gotten compliments on this book. I have people, other publishers now that are calling me, asking me, well, Hay House doesn't really promote your books. We'll do promotion for it if you want. That kind of thing. I've even gotten tithe checks because of that book, which, I thought, wow, that feeling of unworthiness of not doing it right that I had before, that, when I look back on that, I feel like that paralyzed me so that I couldn't move forward. I had to force myself finally to move forward, to step out of the fear. And I look at that book now, and there's imperfections in it. After having 3 people read it for spelling errors, etc., I still find some. That was before I got it printed, right? And there's no February 6th. I don't know what happened to it, but, it's perfectly imperfect. So I have some ideas here. In fact, the Global Vision people had some ideas, and I'm working off some of those today. So what we want to do then is begin to realize that these imperfections are really unique expressions of the divine. They're manifesting through us, and they become the perfection of all. I mean, when I look at that book now, even though there's no February 6th and there's spelling errors, etc., that book has made a difference in people's lives. So it's perfect in its imperfection. Dr. Holmes says, if the spiritual universe were not perfect, it could not exist for a single moment. The truth is indivisible and whole. God is complete and perfect. If the spiritual universe were not perfect, it could not exist for a single moment. I once saw this little video on Facebook, probably, or one of the science magazines I get, that talked about, I've always heard that our planet is in a spiral galaxy, which to me meant it was flat and it had these spirals coming out of it like, these arms coming out, and that it's moving through the universe. And last year, I think it was, when I watched this little video that showed that, yes, it is a spiral galaxy, but it's spread out. Like some of the planets are up here, some are back here. It's not flat, but it is spiraling together throughout the universe. And I thought, wow, the universe is perfect. In everything that it does, it's absolutely perfect. And another thing I've begun to realize even more so lately is that the universe delights in expressing through us. Like when our band is playing music, or Les is playing her flute, or Jeff is playing his guitar, or Jackson on the piano, Doug on the drums, whatever, whether they're doing it as a group or whether they're doing it individually, the universe is delighting in that. It's moving through them, expressing in a way that serves them and serves others, and it's delighting in that ability to do that. So if the universe then is delighting in how it works through us, then my feeling is we need to start trusting it. We need to start trusting the universe. So rather than going, oh my God, everything that's happening in the world is so awful, we need to step back from that. I don't think we should not express it, because we do feel horror for things that are happening. We feel grief for things that are happening. We feel angry for things that are happening, whether it's in our life or in the greater picture. But we need to trust that there's something much greater going on than we could possibly ever know. I mean, if you think about this, that one of our descriptions of God is infinite intelligence. Infinite intelligence, that means it has no boundaries anywhere. It's not smart up to here and then not, right? It's infinitely intelligent. Now that infinite intelligence is working through you, through me, through everything, through all the plants and animals around us, even through this building, which we consider to be inanimate. It's constantly working. So I went back to an old affirmation that I used to use, that I remembered when I was writing down my notes for today. Regardless of appearances, everything is working out for my highest and best good. Regardless of appearances, it's not like you're saying, oh, it's not happening, right? But regardless of appearances, everything is working out for our highest and best good. And we need to trust that. Individually, everything is working out for my highest and best good. And who knows better than that infinitely intelligent presence that is living our life in, through, and as us, what our highest and best good is? I know that we've all had experiences before where we had a plan. This is the road our path is taking, This is our plan, and everything's all, set out just so. And then something happens. When I first moved to Honolulu, for instance, I was in this fabulous jewelry store in the Kahala Hilton Hotel. And I mean, this place was absolutely amazing. I had never seen such beautiful jewelry, and the way it was displayed was beautiful and everything. And I was telling this man that was standing there how beautiful the store was, et cetera, et cetera. And he said, well, we're looking to hire somebody. Are you interested? And I thought, oh my God, how wonderful this would be. Yes, employee discount. How wonderful this would be to be around all this prosperity and the people and everything that were in that hotel, everything. I was just so excited about it. So I filled out a resume. An application. I brought in my resume, and I get to sit with the owner of the jewelry store for a bit, and he says, you have everything that we want, but there's a problem. And I'm going, what kind of problem? And he says, you have down here that you're studying for the ministry. You can't serve God and mana at the same time. In other words, he wanted somebody that was going to work there for a long time, and it looked like I'd only be working there 2 years because I was studying for the ministry at the time. I walked out of there so crushed. I was absolutely crushed because here was my perfect job, and I needed a job. A few weeks later, I went to the beach. I was so frustrated about not being able to find a job because everybody told me I was too highly qualified for whatever it was I was applying for. So Helen Street, my teacher, told me, just quit looking. Go to the beach. Okay. So I did. So I'm walking down the beach, and there's a lady laying out on a big blanket with an Abyssinian cat on a leash. You know me. Oh, wow, what a beautiful cat. I used to have an Abyssinian cat. I sat down, we started having this great conversation, and then she had to go off. So we exchanged phone numbers because maybe we'd sit on the beach again together. She goes off to work, and a couple days later, the house where I was staying, a friend's house, their mother said, you had a phone call from this lady, said, you have to call her right away. So I looked at the number, and it's that woman's number, and I call her, and she says, you want a job? And it's like, what kind of job? And she worked at this place called the Columbia Inn, downtown Honolulu. She was a bartender. So I'm thinking, I have never been a waitress. That's not my, I don't know how to do that. Immediately think that's what she's offering me. And she says, there's this guy that comes in here every day for lunch. And he just lost his assistant at his company or at his office. I said, well, what kind of work is that? And she says, well, he's an accountant. Now, I got to tell you that for 14 years before, when I lived in Glendale, California, I was the data processing manager for a company called Pacific Southwest Screw Company. Now, that's a weird title, but they sold nuts and bolts and nails and screws and things like that. I know how to be an accountant's assistant. So I go in for this interview, and he asked me a couple questions and says, when can you start? Okay. So I started almost immediately. he had a huge computer. He was really into computers. He had this huge computer to do the work on. And I said, and he would go to the Columbia Inn for lunch every day from 11:30 till 2. So I'm a receptionist, and I'm filling out papers and doing this. And I finally says, Jack, I don't have anything to do while you're gone. Can I use that computer for my homework? He said, sure, go ahead. So not only did I have a really neat job, but I got to do all my homework and study at the office. Now, do you think that was the universe? Here's that path. It was perfectly designed. I'm going to work at this jewelry store. It's going to be fantastic. And the universe went, let's work here. Because not only was I working and making money, but I was studying and doing my homework for ministerial school at the same time.
The moral of the story is just go to the beach.
What was that?
The moral of the story is just to go to the beach.
Go to the beach.
Yeah, go to the beach. Right, go to the beach. Right. Yep, you could go to the beach really easily. So, regardless of appearances, everything is working out for our highest and best good. Now, the interesting thing about us is that it's really easy to doubt ourselves and our situations. The truth is, it seems like we're hardwired for fear, just like all animals are. We're animals, remember? I watched this cat that I adopted recently that was abandoned by the people that moved out across the street. When he goes towards anything, he's constantly looking. It's like there's this nervousness in him, and it's getting better as time goes on. He realizes, yes, he does live in my house, and he's always going to get to eat, but there's this nervousness going on. And as I was letting him in last night, and I had been working on this, I'm thinking, animals are definitely hardwired for fear, and it's called preserving their lives. So there's a part of us that believes there's somebody out to get us, or we're not doing it good enough, or there's a limited supply of whatever we might want. There's always seems to be something to fear. So that maybe we could realize that that's part of that imperfectness in our perfection. And yet it's a part of us. So we don't fight it. We pay attention to it. I know that all of us have had experiences, I'm sure, of having that little frisson moving down our back as we're in some area or near somebody, and we realize, we don't want to be here. This is not the place to be. So we got to pay attention to it, but we don't have to let it be the reason for us being. So I thought about this. The current conditions, whether it's our current conditions or the world's current conditions, they don't reveal the truth of the situation. What they do is reveal the effects of our past thinking. Think about that for a moment. What's happening right now is not part of my immediate thinking right now. It's part of it is the thinking that I was doing last night about what am I going to talk about. That the thoughts always come first. The thoughts and the emotions always come first. Current conditions do not reveal the truth of the situation. They only show us the results of our past thinking. Therefore, we can make corrections along the way. I used to think like this, and I don't want to think like this anymore, so now I'm going to think like this. We can change our thinking and change our lives. Anybody ever heard that statement before? And then I discovered something really neat in reading the notes from the Global Vision people. They say that Intuit, the company Intuit, does anybody know what that is? They do financial programs for the computer, et cetera. I almost said for the TV. Anyway, must be some of Scott's stuff. Intuit co-founder Scott Cook says, every failure teaches something important that can be the seed for the next great idea. And you know what? Intuit is a software company that gives a special award for the best failure every year. Wow, that's pretty amazing. And they have failure parties to celebrate them. So rather than beating ourselves up for something we think we failed at, let's celebrate it, because we're really showing us what doesn't work and how to move into a new place. And then I discovered that Google does that too. Google gives rewards for making mistakes and taking risks. So here's two major money-making companies. And both of these companies are recognizing that lessons come out of discovering what doesn't work. What did they say? Edison tried the light bulb 79 times, some large, what? 1,000. 1,000 times, okay, before he ever got it. And I wondered when I first heard that, how many times have I thought about something, done something, it didn't work, and so because it didn't work, I never did it again. Every failure teaches us something important that can be the seed for the next great idea. My last idea is that perspective gives us a great opportunity to see the perfection in all events and creations. And that made me think that I often judge things too soon. And you do probably as well. And it also made me, because I like needlework, it reminded me of, if you were to look at the back of one of these ancient tapestries, you would think that it was just a big mess of yarn on the back of the canvas. The back never looks good, whether it's needlepoint or embroidery or whatever. It's very hard to make both sides look good. But when you step back, you turn it over and you step back and you take another view of it, you realize, wow, all those threads weave together and made this beautiful picture. This is what we're doing with our lives. We're taking a thread from here and a thread from there and a thread from here, and we're weaving together a life. Sometimes we judge it as being a mess or tangled or ugly. But the truth is, if we allow ourselves to step back, we will see that it is absolutely amazing. That our tapestry is uniquely ours, and it's been woven together in exactly the way it should be. So what I want you to think about this week, that as you follow your passions, allow yourself to remember that there is that within you, that infinite intelligence within you, that already has your highest and best good in mind, in hand, in heart, and that which we are weaving is absolutely the most perfect thing for us right now. And celebrate those things that you think are failures. Instead of judging yourself and beating yourself up for it and deciding, I'm never going to do that again. Let yourself expand and celebrate. Celebrate recognizing, okay, this didn't work. Out of that is going to come something even better. Even better. So let's see our affirmation for this morning. Are we ready? Take a breath. I am perfect as I am. I don't need to change to be a better person. Even while possessing some faults, I know that at my core, I am exactly who I need to be, a perfect outpicturing of spirit and purpose, an I am grateful. So let's do a spiritual mind treatment. How grateful I am to remember that all there is the divine presence, this amazingly, infinitely intelligent energy, this unconditional loving energy. And I celebrate that today as I remember that is my life force. Spirit is my life force. And so right now, I choose to allow myself to be imperfectly perfect. I remind myself that everything I do is right for the moment. And everything I do brings about another choice to make. So right now, I choose to trust the divine. I absolutely trust that infinite intelligence is guiding me on my path, that unconditional love is supporting me on this path. And I let myself experience an amazing life because of this, one that is filled with joy, with laughter, with insight and empowerment, one that is just right for me. And so if I have been judging myself up until now, I just drop it. I let it go. It no longer serves me in any way whatsoever. And I breathe deeply and remember that who I am is the embodiment of the divine. All of us are gods and goddesses. Or as Jean Houston calls us, God's seeds. And how wonderful this is to truly incorporate into our belief system. We are moving forward, separately or individually and together. And it is a good thing, a very good thing. So with a grateful heart, I release these words into divine mind, knowing that they are already so, and so it is. And Donna is giving us a gift of music this morning, so let's give her a hand.
Thank you. And I want to thank the musicians here that are supporting me in this song today. This is yet another derangement. Where you take a known song and switch it up. No, don't move the mountain, give me the strength to climb, and don't take away my stumbling blocks, lead me all around. Divine mind has the answers to problems that may cause me fright. I quiet my thoughts, clear my mind, and do it just right. So, no, don't move the mountain, give me the strength to climb, and don't take away my stumbling blocks, lead me all around. I need not seek perfection, the law of mind will show me the way. When I express gratitude in what I say and do, life gets better each day. No, don't move the mountain, give me the strength to climb. Don't take away my stumbling blocks, lead me all around. Today I celebrate the presence within me. Steps are revealed gently and with grace. I accept these gifts with with a grateful heart. Spirit guides me in my ways. Oh, don't move the mountain. Give me the strength to climb. And don't you take away my stumbling block, but lead me all around. Thine mind has the answers to any problem I may face. I quiet my thoughts, I clear my mind, and stay on in my own race. No, no, don't move that mountain. Give me the strength to climb, and don't take away my stumbling block, but lead me all around. Yeah. Oh.
Thank you, Donna and the band. Wish that could go on so much longer. Okay, we're going to get to the part where we are going to share our gifts. Marvin, if you'll put the slide up on the screen. We are going to, Edward and Amy will be passing the plate. Put in it what you can, what you feel comfortable with, what you feel safe. If there is nothing you can put in, please put in love. And put in love anyway, even if you put something else. So we all first say together this affirmation: I gratefully give from the fullness of my abundance, knowing my gift blesses this center, all in it and beyond, and so it is. Band, it's yours. As we accept these gifts so generously provided by this congregation, we know that all there is energy and divine spirit, and that this currency, these gifts, and the love that goes into these plates is of that same divine spirit. And it now goes outward through our community, into this neighborhood, into the universe, spreading good and love and making the world a better place, with special emphasis on those who are suffering, who are in pain, and those who are fearful. Knowing that this is happening every moment, every time, all we need to do is put it out into the universe and the law responds. We say together that we are grateful, and so it is.
So it is.
Okay, before we get to our community statement of inclusion, we're going to want somebody to read our community statement of inclusion. We always bring somebody up to do that, and then Donna will close us out with our monthly song. A reminder that that the practitioners are all available for you. If you would like to have a few minutes after the service with a practitioner, there's myself, there's Edward, there's Les, Claudia. I think I saw Claudia floating around. There's Claudia floating over there. There's Karen. I feel like it's a romper room, and I see Angelica, and I see Michelle. But if we can be of service to you, that is why we are here. Please approach us. And that was the next thing on my list. And we also like to get a couple of short demonstrations of people who have seen it working and would like to share. Edward, would you like to come forward? I think the demonstration is your clothes.
And I'm short.
No fooling. I actually lost 2 inches, according to the San Francisco people. Gone from 6'1" down to 5'10". So that's short. Yeah, my demonstration is that we went to San Francisco this past week for medical care, as I've been doing for a while. And, whoops.
It's broken anyway.
And we had my scan and all of my tests. Everything came back negative. So I am now officially cancer-free.
Can't top that. We'll just stop with that one. Oh, you have one too. Okay, pressure's on.
No, there's no pressure. I just want to thank everyone who participated in the prayers for my brother. I really focused on asking for prayers around removing his fear. He's had a fear about back surgery since his 20s, and now he's in his late 60s, and he's finally gotten spinal surgery. And the day before surgery, he said, "I'm not feeling so afraid anymore." So I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Oh my goodness, we have Cherie, who will be moving away.
My voice is kind of funky because I had pneumonia recently. I've been looking and looking and looking for a place to live here for my grandchildren and my roommate and myself. And every way I turned, the road was blocked. That pin just wanted to be down there. So I was really getting frustrated and depressed, and I was so sick and having seizures, and it was just, I just didn't know where to turn, and finally I remembered. And I said, "Universe, thank you for finding me the perfect place for my grandchildren and Brenda and I, and I know that you will guide me on that path. Just show me the way, and I'll take the path." And the next day, while talking to my counselor, she said, "You're worried about everybody else, you know, your grandkids and your roommate, and you're not taking care of you. You're not focusing on you. You need to make you and your health the #1 priority." And she's been saying that for a while, but this time I heard it. And within 48 hours, less than that, I decided my daughter, who had been asking for me to come live with her, I decided to call her and talk to her and see if she'd still take me. And she was so excited to take me and the kids. And she told me, "Mom, I want you to stay until you pass." She said, "I want to take care of you." And interestingly enough, and she was there within 36 hours at my house, helping to pack and ordering the U-Haul and loading it, stuff that, you know, I have difficulty with. And we got some helpers, and it was just amazing how everything came together. Suddenly, everything flowed. All the doors opened, the path glowed, and I was just amazed. And the other thing that was so amazing, I was having sometimes as many as 15, 20 seizures a day, sometimes seizures all day long, so I just stayed in bed. The seizures stopped the day I made the decision. So that's all I got. I'm very grateful. And I'm going to miss you all so much. But I know that I'm going where I need to be and that I will be cared for. I'm going to be living on a working farm way up on a mountain in the forest in southern Oregon. So I'm really jazzed to play with chickens and pigs and geese.
Oh, yes, Les.
I have one that's very short and funny.
Okay.
My sister's cat, named Catty Wampus. He's got to be like 17 or 18 years old now, and she's loved him all his life. Well, she moved to a second-floor apartment, and he somehow figured out how to get out of the building. He's done a couple of times, and usually he's gone for a few hours, and then at night when it gets quiet, he manages to sneak in and up the stairs. And well, last week he was gone for 2 days. He didn't come back that night. And she didn't say anything about it, but I knew she was worried. And I texted her, did Catty Wampus come back last night or today? And she goes, no. And I go, and I decide, okay, I'm going to treat for Nina and Catty. And I just decided, there is oneness, particularly in love there is oneness, and therefore Catty and Nina have the intrinsic ability to find each other. And so it is, and thank you. And I had barely come back from the meditative state in which I did it when I got a text from Nina. He was there at the door. So here we are from the sublime to the ridiculous, but it was almost like it was for Nina and Catty, but it was also for me and my faith, like, yes, this happens.
All right, wonderful. Do I have somebody who will read the community statement of inclusion for us? Come on, you can do it. Okay, walk in awe. Would you please walk in awe and come up here and read the statement of inclusion? So we're going to put it on the screen. Walk in awe will read it. At the bottom, you'll see there's a bolded line, and we all read that together. And then Donna, if you will follow and lead everybody in the closing song, come forward. It's all yours, and it's right there.
I love this about us. I am so proud that we have this. So every week, I am just filled. So, we, the Eureka Center for Spiritual Living, are a community that celebrates diversity, fosters inclusion, champions inner work, and creates space for brave, vulnerable conversations. We are a community that honors the unique emanation of God that each person embodies and advocates with people for human rights and dignity for all. We are a community that blesses each other, sees sacredness in all life, remains learners and listeners so we may grow together and understand that oneness is not sameness. We know our beloved community is revealed more fully when we love each other well.
Our closing song, you may stand and join me, please.
Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. There's none within. Be free. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself and be